Greetings, this is Sean, and today I'm going to finally build this miniature bar that I've been talking about lately. Anyway, these are all of the parts here. Kind of looks familiar if you've seen my other two videos as far as making and cutting them out and doing it on the CAD. And that's the layout there of what's going to be, of how things are going to be. Now, I did have to make a few changes. There's supposed to be some runners that the drawers sit on, but I'm going to use a couple pieces of scrap 1/32 inch basswood to make these shelves that the drawers will sit on, and I'll mention that later. And I'm not going to do the doors. I just decided to leave them off. Actually, I have another idea in mind, but I'll save that for another time. Anyway, I'm just going to collect up all the pieces. I put them in these little bins that I've got, the ones that I'm not going to use right away, just so that they don't get lost. And the first thing I'm going to do is start at the bottom and work my way up. So I'm going to build the frame first. And as you are all probably familiar, that little glue bottle does get clogged, and I actually found a piece of music wire that fits in there, and it doesn't bend as much as the paperclip did, so it does a much better job. You'll see me do that 3 or 4 times throughout this video. Anyway, what I'm trying to do now is find the center points of the base frame. I'm going to mark where the center is there, and then I will also find the center of the bottom piece so that I can center up that base frame with the base itself. And what you'll see me do here is I draw lines down the center of it, and I go diagonal just to make sure that the center point is in the center, which it was. And then I just line up the marks on the base with the lines on the bottom piece, and that makes it centered. And there's my 5-pound box of BBs. Anyway, I did happen to lose the footage of the top-down view, so for the first 10 minutes of this or so, and so you won't see the top-down view. So I'm going to try and be as creative as I can with the angles that you're seeing here. So I apologize for that. Anyway, here I'm just putting up the sides. Actually, not the first 10 minutes, it's the first 4 or 5 minutes. Sped up. And now what I just did was I found the center mark of the bottom there, because there's a little shelf support that I'll be putting in here in a second. That piece there. I was also going to put in a light, some LED lights into it, but I got to a point where, oops, I forgot to do it because I put the top on, and it would have been very difficult to do at this point. I should have did it before I put the top on, so maybe if I ever make another one of these, I'll put lights in it. I may end up selling these on my website. If so, you'll have the option of having lights on it. So now I'm just putting in these little shelf supports for the next shelf up. And of course I'm using my playing card. Make sure everything's nice and square. Now what I'm building here is there's a middle shelf like a little platform that goes on that top shelf there that I just put on. And so that's what I'm doing right now, is building that platform. I forget what the plans actually called it. Just a raised platform. And it also helps to support the drawer sides, the sides of the drawer panels. Now what I'm doing is that piece there is actually a top support for those drawer panels, and so I'm just marking the distance that it needs to be for that piece there, so that I know where to place that piece, that raised platform in the middle. Clogged again. You'd think I'd learn. Now I'm going to be building the drawers. There's 4 drawers, 2 on each side. And right now I'm just separating all the piles into each of the drawers. I'm only going to show building one drawer because they're all built the same. That's the back of the drawer that I just put on. And what I'm going to do here is I take a piece of scrap wood and make it the same width as that piece, so I can use it to help stabilize and square up the drawer, so I put the face on. And then I'll take that piece out once it's glued. And then on this one, the drawer actually, or the bottom of the drawer goes on the bottom instead of in between all the sides. And I accidentally glued the front on. Before that, I realized that it was supposed to do that, and the bottom of the front of the drawer is supposed to be flush with the bottom of the drawer. So I had to press it down, but it worked. So there's a little bit of a lip on the top of the drawer, and that piece that I remember at the beginning I was mentioning I was going to put the supports in that way. The front of the drawer hits that piece there that I'm gluing in now to keep it from going too far back. Now I'm just sanding the edges flush because it was kind of bumpy and makes it fit better. So I got to put one of those on for each drawer. And you can see on the left hand side I've already got it done. I built it on that side first to make sure it was going to work, and now I'm showing you how I did that. And good old super glue. I'm sorry, CA glue. And now what I'm doing is I'm just marking on the bottom which drawer they are, so I know where to put them back. Now I'm getting ready to put the top on. Make sure you cap your glue. It dries out too quickly with these little bottles. Anyway, so that's the top being put on, and now I'm just going to add something that wasn't in the drawing, and that's a brass foot rail. I've already bent the brass. I thought I was recording when I did this, or the bending part, but I wasn't. So anyway, what I'm doing now is I'm taking these scraps of brass strips and making something to hold it onto it. You'll see. It's just a 1/4 inch wide piece of strip of brass sheet that I just bend in around the tube, and then I just bend it so that it'll stick out 1/4 of an inch on the front, and then about 1/8 of an inch or so on the sides. And so that's what I'm doing now, is just bending that in to make a bracket to hold that bar. Love those scissors. Those are great scissors. And here I'm just trying to get the bar itself centered so I know how big I need to make the side ones, how much room I got. That piece that I was cutting those strips off of was a spare, and what I'm doing is I'm spraying rubbing alcohol to wipe off. There was some black magic marker that I was using for marking it for a different project that I was doing, and rubbing alcohol takes off marker very, very well. And I didn't show it on here, but try taking black magic marker and putting some alcohol on it and rubbing it with a white, like, tissue paper or paper towel or something. You'll see that it's not really black, it's purple. Just thought I'd share that. So here I am just trying to wrap the strip around the tube. And now I'm just going to shape it to where it bends. Yes, that is the top, but I'm just using it for reference of the line. It's easier to set that on there when doing that. Now I'm just comparing it with the one that I've already made. Now it's just a matter of putting it on the right way and attaching it to the bar itself. Here what I'm doing is I'm just trying to find the center point so that I can glue that one there to the bar itself using CA glue and a little spritz of accelerator. Upside down. There we go. Now that's just going to sit there on the bottom. I'll glue that in place, and thought about finishing and putting something on the ends of those open ends of the bars. And I thought about, just leaving it open. I may do another video showing how I finish this. I'm debating on whether to paint it or stain it, and I have an idea for staining, which I think is how I'm going to end up doing it. But I'll do that on another video. So anyway, that is my miniature bar. Let me know what you think in the comments. And this was actually a really fun build. And here I'm just cleaning up some of the marks and making sure everything's glued in place. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Have a better day, as I always say.